What is going on, guys? My name is Halvy, and today I am bringing you a simple commentary video, no face, just gameplay and my thoughtful conversation. I've been waiting to do a commentary video on like my personal stories and stuff for quite a while, just because I didn't think that I was at a point where there was enough people who necessarily were that interested. But it seems like there definitely are. My Q&A video got some great feedback, and so I figured there were quite a few different topics that were addressed in my Q&A video that I thought was good for a commentary in and of itself. So that's what this is, and today I'm going to be doing this over a little bit of Titanfall gameplay in the background there. I thought this was a pretty cool gameplay. I ended up going 9-1 or 9-0, I don't know which one it was. But 9 kills with only using the secondary pistol, and so I thought it was just kind of fun and unique. People don't really do it that much on Titanfall yet, so I figured I might as well show it to you. But yeah, so the topic for today that I am going to be telling you guys about is one of the first ones I addressed in my Q&A video that I was going to be talking about later, and that is my first kind of relationship, somewhat semi-experience, and how all that went together. At some point I'll tell you guys a little bit more about my current relationship and stuff like that. And the reason I'm not just wanting to talk to you guys about this because I'm just trying to be like, well, I don't have content, or here's just a little bit of a story and that's it, so you guys just are knowing about my life. I don't really think that my life is just so crazy interesting that you guys need to know all about it. But I want to explain these stories to you and tell you about them, because the fact is that I do have quite a bit of life experience, and I would love to help you guys out and help anybody out in any way that I can. At some point in time, I'll probably do a series, kind of like a question and answer series, where you guys can ask for advice on some of the things, and then I'll be able to answer them for you and help give you any advice that I have from me. But before I do that, I wanted to make sure that I felt that you were getting to know a little bit more about me and my kind of history, I guess you could say, so that way you can see where I get a lot of my, I guess, knowledge and expertise on what I would be helping you guys with if you had in the future. So just kind of that intro or whatever. Be sure to leave a comment if you guys have any questions, anything relating to this. But without further ado, I'll just go ahead and get right into the story so you guys can get all excited about the juicy, gritty details, which there are not very many of. So my first quote-unquote relationship was with a girl that I had kind of grown up with, not grew up with, but I'd known her for quite a while from my hometown. And after I ended up moving away from all that, which I'll explain again in another story, we ended up still kind of liked each other, and it was that little kid. I'm sure you guys all remember back when you were 7th grade, or some of you might still be, and it's the fact is, for those of you in 7th grade right now, it gets a lot better, a lot more it gets a lot more fun and serious and whatever as time progresses. Don't worry about these serious things, but of the whole girlfriends and everything like that. I always find it kind of funny when there's little 7th graders or even freshmen and sophomores in high school that are like, oh, I have this girlfriend and we're in love and all this stuff. And hey, you know what? Maybe some of you are. I don't think you are, but I might be wrong, and that'd be awesome. But anyways, a lot of you know what it's like. There's always, you're going to grow a lot, and that's going to turn into different ways that you view relationships. But anyways, it was pretty much a year-long, to put it short, a year-long long-distance relationship where the extended of talking on the phone and holding hands once and then hugging a couple times. So it was pretty simple. But then I actually ended up, my first kiss, we'll say this, my first kiss was in a quote-unquote relationship that was, it was very uncomfortable for me at the time. It's like, man, now if I was to be able to go back at this time, which, I have a girlfriend right now and I'm happy with her, but just hypothetically, it would have been handled so much differently. And anyways, so I won't get too much into that. But I was 14 years old and a sophomore in high school. She was 19 and a super senior in high school. So I think she got held back a grade or something, but she was a senior in high school. So it was just interesting. But how it started is we were good friends, pretty good friends, and we talked a lot and everything, and we were able to relate to each other a lot with some of our family story and everything like that. So we ended up talking, and I was just remember being frustrated and talking to her about this one night about how, like, yeah, you know, I've tried to, you know, ask girls and stuff. And I was a pretty ballsy little kid. I was I was voted the school's biggest flirt 2 years in a row at my high school as a freshman and a sophomore, and then I started calming down. But just to give you, I was a pretty confident little kid, overconfident probably. But anyways, I always went for the, you know, the more pretty popular girls, whatever. They're older than me by at least a year or two, and so I'd always ask them though at the end, you know, whatever, I would be fine, not get hurt about it. Why would you not want to be going out with me and stuff? And, well, you know, you're cute and whatever, but the fact is that you just don't have any experience, and you're not old. I wouldn't, you know, you're a little too young. And I was just like, man, that's ridiculous, because I can't change how old I am. Which, by the way, guys, age is just a number, and I'll get into that later. But the experience thing, I was like, well, this sucks, because how am I supposed to get experience if I don't have any experience? And it takes experience to get experience. You can imagine my little head. I was so confused and sad. So we talked to her about this, and then she, to my kind of surprise, she ended up saying, well, I'll be your first kiss. I was like, what are you talking about? And she says, yeah, I'll be your first kiss. I don't mind, you know, we can do that and stuff. And I was just like, well, what is, you know, I was confused because I was like, well, is that going to make our friendship awkward? She's just like, I mean, I think you're cute and stuff, so might as well. It's like, all right, like, I'm not going to complain. So for about a week there was this weird, surreal, like, moment and experience, thought process for me. And I ended up, we started planning it out or whatever, and we're like, all right, we'll just go to this one other person's house, this other girl's house, who was one of her friends. So we did, and needless to say, as I said before, I would have handled the whole situation a lot differently, but it was really weird for me as a 14-year-old with no experience, because it was me, this girl that I kissed, and the girl, her friend, for about, you know, by ourselves at this big house. And so we were just chilling up in the friend's room, and we at one point or another, all kind of fuzzy, but at one point or another, we were all three, like, laying in the bed, and they were all being whatever and stuff, and, you know, not sexual or anything, but it was just kind of like super flirty and, you know, snuggly and stuff, and I'm just sitting there like stone cold petrified. Oh my gosh, what is going on right now? And yeah, it's weird just thinking about this. And so we ended up like just talking and whatever. Nothing actually ended up happening. I think some tickle fights happened really awkwardly for me, because I was like ticklish. I'm really ticklish, but I was just like, don't tickle me, this is weird and I feel uncomfortable, and I just want my mommy, which I did, and that was fine. But we ended up, the friend leaves, or I go downstairs to start a movie, and then the friend comes down. She's without the girl that I kissed, and I was like, oh, I know what's happening. So she's like, you know, so-and-so says, we'll call her Sally. Sally says that, or I guess, no, she didn't say that. The friend says, so I think you and Sally should go kiss now. I'm like, really? I was like, okay. So I went up there. They were probably talking about it. I sat down on a chair. She was sitting on the bed. And I was just like, oh my goodness. So then I sat on the bed. We kissed. And I thought it was going to be a little kiss. It wasn't just a little kiss. It was like, I don't know what happened. Because I remember that we started kissing and it wasn't stopping. And then when I opened my eyes again, we were both like laying down in the bed. And then, yeah, it was weird. And then she tells me, hey, you were good, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, thanks. And then I was just like, I'm really tired, and let's just go watch a movie. And the rest of that night was just kind of like, oh, my God. And I was just sitting thinking about it for a while, and it was an awkward experience. Thinking about it, being able to quote-unquote brag about it, it's like, yeah, I was a 14-year-old kid who got my first kiss slash quote-unquote make-out with a 19-year-old girl, which was pretty awesome. Which I still to this day would say, yeah, that's pretty cool. Honestly, not very many 14-year-olds are able to say that. However, at the time, I was pretty mortified. So, yeah, that's my story of my first kiss, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and comment below. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you guys later.